What do you love about drums?
You know, honestly, what I love most about drums is how it enables me to take my emotions inside and physically do something with my body and create a sound and create rhythm. I get to express myself emotionally, musically. You know, drums, the oldest instrument aside from our voice, you know, and it was designed and created as a form of communication and expression. And that's it. You know, it's the emotional aspect. I love learning. I love pushing myself, working on the finger techniques, the foot techniques, working on patterns and stuff. And I love doing all that. But mostly, what do I love mostly about drumming is that emotional connection that you can really make with it if you just let yourself go. You know.
How do you feel about practicing?
I feel really strongly about practicing. Now, here's the deal with practicing. The first thing we have to think about is what is practicing. So many drummers right off the bat, they fall into this problem where they're not learning, they're not developing, and it's because when they walk into their studio or they sit behind their drums, they play what they've been playing for weeks or months, years. Play. They're not practicing. They're not taking one new element, two new elements, something simple a month. They're not learning their basic rudiments, which is like basically trying to learn how to be a writer without knowing your alphabet. So practice is very important to me, as long as it's practice. Let's sit behind our drums, let's play, let's get the lead out, let's get the ADD out, but then before we're done, let's take that 15 minutes, that half hour or that hour and devote it to something new. And we don't abandon that until we get it down and we're consistent and fluid, and then we can take something else. But keep it separate from your playing time. Sitting behind our drums, yeah, it's practicing because you're doing what you always do, but you're not developing yourself. So people really have to be careful of that and practice. Yeah, it's everything. It's crucial. That's it. No development without it. So practice is everything. Why do I do what I do? Because it's been a lifelong dream. It's to connect with people, communicate with people, and that's what I get to do this way. You know, I literally get to correspond and work with and connect with people who are all the way around the world, everywhere, and that to me is what it's all about. It's not about money, and that's one thing I'm very strong about. You know, the students, the members of my site, they may think of themselves as a customer, but I don't think of them as a customer or a consumer. They're friends of mine, they're people I'm working with, they're people who deserve respect and everything, of course, but they're not a customer. When you join my site or when I work with you, you're more than that. I don't want to say family, I don't want to say friends. We just form a very strong connection that goes beyond those things. And that's why I do what I do. I also do what I do because so many places you'll go to get drum lessons from, whether it's online or on YouTube, you will watch somebody sit there and show you the end result of all their hard work, and they'll go, this is the lick we're going to do. We're doing it at 60, 90, and 100 beats per minute. They wail the lick out for you for 20 minutes at those 3 tempos. They give you the work, and then they say, okay, have a nice day. But the mechanics, the fine details of the technique, how they're applying these certain aspects, shifting their weight, their body, most of those things are left out. They touch base on them very little, but so many times it just, you know, the students just see the overall lesson, they see the notation, and then they go home and they get frustrated because they can't do that in 2 weeks, and they don't understand why, and it's because all the mechanics have been left out of the lesson. And that's another reason I do this, is because I want to give at least an opportunity. You can go here and learn all the Latin stuff, you can go here and learn everything you need to. Here we're going to talk about how we're applying ourselves behind the kit and what we can do motion-wise, movement-wise as well.
Do you really believe that our life affects our drumming and vice versa?
It's not even a matter of do I believe our life affects our drumming or our drumming affects our lives. It absolutely does, hands down. If you don't take care of your body physically, in just a small amount, if you don't eat good, you're not going to feel well. That's going to play with your emotions, your feelings, the way your brain functions, the way your body feels, and forget it affecting the way you're playing drums, you're not even going to want to play your drums. So it all starts with there. You know, when people are like, oh, I just don't have the motivation, I don't have the desire, it's because there's something else. It's not because they're not learning and everything or their equipment sucks. It's because something inside them isn't right, and it's usually within their diet or their health or something there that's going on in their life. So do I believe that our lives affect our drumming? Absolutely. And you know what, if you take care of that a little bit and your drumming feels better and you get to see and feel those results, then your drumming is actually helping to affect your life, because you're feeling good in your life, your drumming's getting better. Your drumming's getting better, it inspires you to find your motivation and treat your life a little better. And you've got a great symbiotic relationship going back and forth between your life and your drums. So it's not even a matter of belief, it's a matter of logic and truth. My favorite playing style. Emotional. Honestly, I can't sit here and say rock. Rock is the music I've played most of my life, and so many people get stuck in the rock box. They can't get out of playing those basic beats, and they just play them and play them over. So I don't want to say I don't like rock anymore. I love it, and there are rock bands out there that I listen to today, and they're my favorite bands. Jazz, you know, funk, all that stuff. So there's not a favorite style of playing to me. There are favorite emotions, let's say that. I love when I've got this almost just intense kind of, not dark, but dark for lack of a better word, this just intense emotion. I love digging into my set really tight, and the hi-hats close and shuffles and ghost notes and stuff. But then there are times that I feel big and open and I play like that. So that's my favorite style, is basing it off emotions, really.
What's your favorite kind of music?
What's what?
Your favorite kind of music?
What's my favorite? Mine. Honestly, I don't even mean that. I know that sounds so bad. What's my favorite kind of music? Mine. I don't mean that in a bad way. I love, you know, bands like Rush and Queensryche, Mahavishnu Orchestra, Dave Weckl solo stuff. I mean, again, you know, to narrow it down, what's my favorite type of music? It would be easier for me to say my least favorite styles of music are probably like country music and folk music, classical music, and southern rock. Those would be my least favorite styles. But my own stuff, you know, I don't even think people realize that like my play-alongs, the songs I jam to, those are my songs. So, and I write those, I construct those because I'm a drummer, so I construct them with the drummer in mind to be able to play cool, busy rhythms, and nobody be able to turn around and say, hey, why don't you turn it down and just play a nice solid beat right there. So honestly, what's my favorite type of music to play? It's my own stuff. It really is. I know that probably sounds so bad, but it's the truth. What do I seek to improve? Like I say, what do I seek to improve? I seek to improve me. I seek to improve me as a drummer, a father, a husband, a family man, a person, a friend, a teacher, a student, a mentor. I just seek to improve everything, you know, and that is something that I'm really excited about with myself, you know, in the later years. You know, I remember growing up as a kid when my family or other people who got into their mid-40s and 50s, and they started to get really kind of just depressed and bummed out with their life. So I'm actually super excited. I intend to live at least another 46 years and see what happens after that. But what do I seek to improve? Everything. Everything, everything, everything. And not just in myself. I'd love to be able to make other things better, but you and I can't physically go and change other people. We can only change ourselves. We can't go outside and make the planet better, the air better, the oceans better. The only thing you can make better is your home and your property and your area and your surroundings. So if you focus on that and people start worrying and concerning themselves with themselves and stop concerning themselves with what everyone else is doing, what everybody else is learning, how everybody else is doing, where everybody else is, and what everybody else is wearing, if we concern ourselves with just how do I feel and what's going to make me happy, then everything else will just fall into place. So what do I want to change? What do I want to improve on? Everything about me. Every day. Every day is an opportunity. Every second of every day is an opportunity to make a decision, and those decisions are going to dictate what we do, and I'm trying to make sure all those choices are the right ones for me. That's all. Who's my favorite drummer? You know, growing up it was Neil Peart. I mean, was one of my biggest, he still is, he's amazing. But right now I would say my two favorite drummers are Jojo Mayer and Benny Greb. And you know, I love Steve Smith and Buddy Rich, and I can just give you an endless list of drummers I love. But Jojo Mayer is like the mad scientist of drumming right now. Just the things he's doing, the techniques he's doing, and the way he's putting it together. So complex, and I love that way of thinking. I'm a person who loves patterns, and even listening to patterns, and watching patterns, and playing with puzzles. So that's kind of why I love Jojo Mayer. He's like that type of person. And then on the other side, you got somebody like Benny Greb, who's the guru, all about the fluidity and the movement and the certain little positions you can get sounds, and just the way he applies his rhythms. So Jojo Mayer and Benny Greb, those two guys are my favorites right now. I don't even almost understand that question, but I do understand the question. You know, nothing really makes me different than anybody else. I don't think I'm better than anybody else. You know, I'm actually harder on myself than most people would even realize and even think that I am. What makes me different than anybody else? Absolutely nothing. I beat myself up all the time. I don't think there's anything different about me. I certainly don't think I'm better than anybody else. I don't think I'm above anybody else. I don't think I'm doing anything that everyone couldn't do. So what makes me different than anybody else? Absolutely nothing. And I really wish more people would realize that they're the same as everybody else. We have the same thoughts, the same worries, and the same fears. And if we would just open up and communicate with each other a little bit more, we'd actually start to feel a little bit better about ourselves and those around us. So no, there's nothing different about me. There's nothing different about me at all. Nothing at all.
What is my drum life?
It's my baby. You know, it's my first official site. I do the drum lessons on there on Wednesday and Friday at 8 a.m. in the morning on Wednesday and Friday, and then 3 p.m. on Wednesday and Friday. I do the bi-weekly classes on Monday nights, and that's where we'll talk about stretching or nutrition, you know, relaxation, just so much. And the cool thing is that I have it set up in a way that you get to make the choices. You don't come onto my site and you're not forced to see this lesson, because that's the lesson. That's it for the week. Like I said, I have the morning workout on Wednesday. I have the morning workout on Friday. I have the level 1 beginner to intermediate at 3 p.m. on Wednesday. I have the intermediate to advanced at Friday at 3 p.m. 7 p.m.s on Monday. I do the drum life classes. I do open Skype office on Monday mornings. You know, basically I log on to Skype, and students, members of the site can log on. I can one-on-one with them. I can talk to them. It's like basically having my door, an open office. But the cool thing about my site is that, like I said, we do classes on nutrition, we do classes on stretching, we do classes on this and this, and I have it set up that you can actually pick and choose what classes you want to study. You know, if you want to hear what I have to say about nutrition and how it relates to drumming, you'll watch that class, you'll click on it. If you want to hear something about stretching, you can go on that. If you just want to watch the drum lessons, you just watch the drum lessons. It's really cool. It is. It's awesome. My site's pretty cool. And it's growing, and it's going to get better. And I'm not going anywhere.